Hola, Taboo Breakers. Bienvenidos a Taboo Talks Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette, and today we have a very, very, very special guest.
Yes, we have Adriana, who's the founder and CEO of Little Words Project, a jewelry brand buzzing among celebrity influencers, teens, women, men across the country into what we want to inspire a kinder world.
Adriana, welcome to Taboo Talks Latina Edition. Your yes has meant the world to us. And thank you for welcoming us to your second home, this beautiful headquarters.
So thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited. We're so excited. This is actually a full circle moment for us.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like, by the way, we've wanted to say that for so long. I'm like, yes. So I want to take it back to our full circle moment because in 2021, I started therapy. I was going through a really rough season in my life. And within the first sessions of my therapy, immediately, like my career was like burning me out. And my therapist said, if nothing was an issue, what would you do? And I immediately said, I don't really know, but I want to start my podcast. I want to do it with a co-host and just start inviting people so they can share their journey. And she said, who would you invite? Who would be your first guest? And I said, Adriana. And she said, I don't know who she is. And I said, girl,
Let me start.
let me put you on this. And I said, oh my gosh, she's the founder of the Little Words Project. And I kind of gave her a rundown and we took it from there. A year and a half later, one of my sessions was almost like a progress report of how far I've come. And at the end of the session, she said, I have a gift for you. And she gifted me a Little Word Project bracelet that says sunshine. And she said, I want you to always remember that you're a sunshine in every room you walk in.
Oh,
Your light shines in every room you walk in.
oh,
And the day you interview her, please let me know.
oh.
And here we are 4 years later.
She's me too.
I know, like so emotional.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share that with you
World.
because I really want you to know the power of these bracelets, the power of this beautiful company that you have built. And this is just my story. I know there's thousands of other people that can relate with a bracelet. And I don't want to say just a bracelet.
No, there's so much.
It's just so much more than a word.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that and for wanting to be a part of this community and for spreading the word and telling people about us and putting people on us. I think that is, 12 years in, word of mouth is still our number one mode of marketing, of getting the word out there, is people just talk about it and they love it so much. Like you said, it's not just a bracelet. But thank you for sharing. It really means the world to me. And it's hard. It's hard to do this job.
Great job.
And thank you, but you're doing it, I'm on the, I'm kind of stuck inside the picture, right? Like I'm in the day to day, the grind. It's really like any other job. It's hard. You got to wake up every day and you got to commit. You got to put one foot in front of the next, no matter what. But what helps me through is stories like that. And it's the knowledge that I can impact people with this hard work. It's not for nothing. I'm not just pushing papers, right?
Yes.
I'm pushing beans, but it is though. It makes, I don't know, it makes it all feel worth it. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad that we made this happen.
I know. Yes.
That is your persistence.
I was just like to say that.
Yes.
And the passion.
Yeah, it's a persistence.
I want to tell my listeners, girl, if you have a dream, go for it.
Yes.
Be persistent. Keep knocking on that door and just like show up, because that's what I did. And I told my therapist and she was so happy. She was like, oh my God, please let me know when the podcast episode launches. And I was like, yes, for sure.
No, she'll be listening.
Yeah.
Thank you, therapist. Great gift giver.
Oh, that's awesome. Not for sure. Before we dive in, because there's power, right? In like when we share a story. Yeah. And I know that you've had to break a lot of taboos to really work it. So can you share with us those taboos that you've had to break to have what you've built today that people see from the outside only, just the bracelets, right? Your empire, your headquarters, everything you have built for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expects me to be what they think of when they think of a CEO, right? Like I'm not your standard. Especially when I first started this, I was 22 years old. Actually 23 years old. I was 23 years old. I'm losing myself. 23 years old, 12 years ago, I'm now 35. And that's basically a baby, right? That age in the grand scheme. And so, I really was excited about creating something that would bring some kindness to the world and navigating growing up, dealing with bullying and all the negativity that I experienced growing up. I just wanted to create something that would bring some kindness. And I don't think that was the norm back in that time. It's not the norm now, and we need it more than ever.
Yeah.
But I was consistently having to overcome this storyline that, that's not going to go anywhere. Like that bracelet, that's not going to go anywhere. Who's going to buy that? Nobody wants that. My kid could make that. So this constant perception that this wasn't going to make it was this feeling that I was having to overcome in the day to day, and still sometimes to this day when some people don't know about it, still to this day.
Yeah.
And when you tell them, they're like, "Oh, that's cute. Do you make them yourself?"
Yeah.
Are you still on the base? It's like they don't realize how legit it is. Now, a little bit less so now that we have our retail stores. People have seen the stores, they know them. They're like, okay, that put us on the map more so. But it's been this constant uphill battle, and they don't expect. I don't think they expect the force that I am. And I'm happy to say that I'm proud to be that. It could be the Latina in me. It could be
I was just gonna
the
say,
inner fire, the inner passion that we all have. It's definitely something that I'm very proud of, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey, to say that.
An beautiful one. And I want to elaborate on that because I was sharing with Cynthia. I was at the airport, and next to me in the airplane sits this lady. We're starting a conversation. She looks at my bracelet and she's like, "Oh, who made those? Your kids?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually upset. I was like,
don't tell her.
I said, "John, the little work project." She's like, "Oh, no, I don't know. I haven't heard." And I was like, "Well, now you do." But it was just like, it's okay, right? But they have that like, "Oh, okay, but yeah, it's so cute, right?"
Yeah.
But they don't treat it as it could be a business. Yeah, it has more meaning, not just a bracelet.
Yeah. And isn't that crazy? It's 2025. I've been around for 12 years, and still people say that. Or people will say like, "Oh, did you go to a Taylor Swift concert?" And they think it's that. And listen, I don't mind it. I love Taylor. I'm all for it, but it's definitely a little disheartening sometimes when all of this, like my life's work, like what I do every single day, the thing that takes me from my kids is this business. And when people ask or belittle it, even in the slightest, kindest way, they're not meaning it that way.
Yeah.
But it definitely is like, you're constantly, and that's what I mean. I'm fighting that uphill battle of the perceived value of the product.
Yeah.
The white letters, which are meant to feel nostalgic and bring you back and remind you of younger, youthful times. Those, for whatever reason, I could have diamonds on the bracelet. The white letters, all of a sudden it's, "Oh, did your kids make that?" It's just such a crafty thing, which, look, on the one hand could be a little frustrating, but on the other hand, it's worked. And we're selling millions. And so at the end of the day, you can think whatever you want to think. I don't care. We're still making an impact and driving impact for so many.
That shows too that there's still many more lives yet that you have to impact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you haven't heard from
yeah.
them now.
Now I will. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun to think about the upside there, right? Like how much still we barely scratched the surface, and we've done so much. So it's cool. It's exciting.
Yeah. Now, do any of those comments kind of motivate you to kind of keep going, right? Because sometimes, they can be discouraging, right? You'll have your moment, but then does that give you kind of like the fire to just keep going?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything gives me the fire to keep going. I'm just one of those, like, it really is. It burns from within, but I really believe in what we are doing. It's more so those stories that you shared earlier in the episode, that when people tell me how much it has affected them and how much it has worked, that's what motivates me most, right? It's like, okay, this is why I'm doing this, because otherwise it's hard. It's hard to get up every single day in the pursuit of the same thing every single day, knowing that you don't really have a choice. You know, this is my first baby. This is like my first passion, my first dream, my first love. How am I supposed to walk away from it? How could I ever walk away from it? You know? So for me, it's like, it's naturally in there. And then the knowledge that it's really working keeps me going 100%.
That's amazing. And now I want to bring it back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because we know this company started because you were bullied.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take us back to that story and that journey? Because we would love our listeners to
Yeah.
dive in a little.
Oh boy, it was a tough upbringing. You know, I moved to a town that was very affluent, and my family was not, right? My you know, we come from a hardworking family. My parents moved here for work, and I struggled to fit in at first. Nobody really looked like me. You know, I was this little like brown girl with frizzy curly hair. I was very just different than the rest. We didn't have, you know, all the flashy things, and I wasn't in the juicy couture like tops and bottoms stuff. My mother was like, never gonna let me in a pant that had juicy on the butt. She's like, absolutely not. Like, what are you talking about? This is not. You're still a Mexican American at the end of the day. This is not what we allowed here. And so I just didn't fit in. I just was not one of the group, right? Right away, at least. And it led to a lot of hate. It led to a lot of negativity and cruelty, and people were just awful. You know, it went everywhere from being called all the names of the book, all the, you know, awful things that kids say to one another. You know, I know I was targeted for where I come from. I was called a spick many times in the high school days is really when it got really bad, freshman year. And it was like out of a movie. You know, I was surrounded at the high school football game. You know, it was very just like out of a movie kind of stuff. And you know, there was one time I had my voicemail at the time. I'd gone on vacation with my family. I had left my phone. It was back in the day where you didn't bring your phone everywhere. I left my phone at home. I came home and I had like 57 missed calls, and all from blocked numbers. And I realized that my voicemail, my answering machine had been changed from, hi, this is Adriana, you know, leave a message, to, you know, hola, someone pretending to be in a Spanish accent. Hola, me llamo Adriana. I'm a dirty Mexican slut.
Oh my God.
I know this is vulgar, so I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this. I haven't really shared this exact story anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't even say the next sentence because it was really disgusting. And at the time, I'm like a young woman. I was a virgin. Like, I was not anything. Like, I was just like a teen, 14 years old. And this is what, and Viva la Mexico was the last thing he said. The man, you know, leaving this boy. Yeah, man. It was the boyfriend of one of the girls who hated me. So just changed. I mean, my voicemail was changed, y'all. Like, so people were calling. My own father had to hear it, you know, and this got the cops involved. We, you know, had to subpoena Verizon to get the numbers of everybody who called, and they just changed the messages.
Yeah, how did they even change your voice? And
your calls to find. It was an old friend of mine who knew my password and shared it. And it was this, like, I had my phone passed around a party. That's how all the numbers kind of came through. And
yeah,
it's just like, you know, you don't, for me, it was the most traumatizing thing I could have ever gone through, right? Like, and this was after a lifetime, truly. I could remember an instance every year of my life where I was some sort of bullied. And by that point, it's been 14 years of dealing with it, right? You know, things moved on. Everything, you know, we put it away, right? We navigated it. I ended up having a good junior, senior year where I found a good group of friends, some of which were my cousin, like my family, my cousin and his friends I became friends with. I became more of a guy's girl in high school because the girls, despite that, except that one guy, it was all girls and him. But the girl relationships, they were hard for me. It wasn't until I got to college that I joined a sorority, which is also kind of crazy because it's like, why would you join a sorority when it's difficult with women? And I joined it, and I was so happy that I did, because it was one of the first times I realized, wow, there's so much power in when women come together. And there's so much positivity that can happen when women come together. So it was my first experience with real sisterhood. And even as a sorority group, as a total group, we were kind of targeted. The cruelty continued for me, which is classic. I went to another very white school, who is small school that you don't really see a lot of people that look like me. I would never felt like I was beautiful. In fact, my husband, who I met there, was the only one who like made me feel like I was beautiful. Like no other guy looked in my direction. Like I was just like, I felt like the ugly duckling, genuinely. And in that experience, especially within my sorority, I was always myself this whole time. Okay. Never mind the fact that I was dealing with the bullying and the negativity. I still showed up confidently. And I still show up as myself. And that was my mom. My mom really poured into my cup and made me realize that what other people think of me doesn't matter. It's what I see when I look in the mirror. Wonderful. It is beautiful because and this is a woman who came from Mexico, had no English, and just gave herself the life that she has now. She built that for herself. And so she knows what it's like to be looked down upon for what she looked like or how she spoke or where she came from. And she didn't let it bother her or affect her. And, she ended up going off to be, to live in this affluent community, to build and run a business that did millions of dollars in revenue and was just really my example the whole time. Mm-hmm. And so the college story really kind of evolved to be, I was the head of recruitment for my sorority, and my first year of being a recruiter and kind of welcoming people into the community, we ended up getting 36 like one-to-one matches, meaning like we sweeped. We got all the best girls who were going after recruitment. They all wanted to join Delta Zeta, and I was the face. I was the one kind of out in front, which again, it's like leading with authenticity and honesty and really genuinely connecting with people and giving them time and looking in their eyes. These are just base level things that I was taught to do as a young girl by my parents and continue to do regardless of how much people put me down. And at the end of the day, it's what attracted people to our organization. But it put a target on my back. It made me the girl who I must have paid people to join, or I must have this, or I must have that. Right. And God forbid I'm like dating, I consider him to be he was one of the best looking guys at school, but he's this like tall, blonde, white kid. And, I don't look like that. And so that pisses off everybody, right? It's just this constant add-on. Gosh forbid I have a relationship with someone who, doesn't look like me and all this. And so I was there, there was all these anonymous forums back in my days in college where, people would put on there like Adriana and Bill are going to have ugly, brown, long-faced babies. Okay. Adriana's an ugly brown witch. Everything that just always about my appearance, always targeting what I looked like, always targeting, this stuff I cannot control because who I was, the confidence, the strength of character and will, and just the constant persistence of what I believed in really pissed people off. Yeah. And I think that's true for everyone, and as Taylor Swift, think people throw rocks at things that shine, right? Yeah. Not to say that I shine, but you know what? I don't not. And at the end of the day, I'm proud of that. And so that was kind of the long-winded version of the story where ultimately I experienced it all the way through college. And it was in that sorority that I started making bracelets, that I had made a version of them for myself growing up, of course, dealing with, words like strength and hope and all the things that I needed in my live, laugh, love, or whatever we did back in the millennial days. But it wasn't until college that I made them for my sorority sisters, and we were targeted as a group. And they said awful things, but we just kind of passed them amongst ourselves, and we were sharing them amongst ourselves. And at the time I called them warm fuzzies. Oh. And they were like giving you warm fuzzy feelings. Yes. Very cute. I'm actually glad that the name was taken when I went to go register my business name though, because it would be the Warm Fuzzy Project right now. But no, it was taken, and thankfully. And it was actually my husband who named it Little Words. He's like, what about Little Words? I was like, ooh, I love that. And I was like, and we'll add project. And he's like, maybe we don't add project. I'm like, no, we need project. That's the movement. And to this day, he's like, drop the project. I'm like, no. I love it. It means that we are a community above all else. And that's really the first time I realized it was in college. This could be a sisterhood bracelet for everyone, if it could be a sisterhood bracelet for us. And that was the impetus of starting the entire brand.
Last of all, I got about sharing that with that level more. It's the first time actually sharing
the stuff you share. At least in the recent years, it is. Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's even more of inspiration who I see you today. Because I honestly knew about you and your bracelet. I didn't own one until I met Cynthia, and she gave me my first set. I mean, hey, our first big subscribers on YouTube. And I connected with your story, with who you are. I looked into you and I was like, wow, she's so much more again than just the words, than the bracelet. And now hearing this story from you, it's an inspiration because you know how many kids are getting bullied, right, in today's world.
Oh, I know.
And in this generation, and even by their own family members, sometimes not even at school anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and to hear this from you and that you still overcome every little part of it is.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I don't know. I really do credit a lot of it with my mom. Partially the fact that she's a Latina mother who, like, you know, she had a really unique way of being like, this is not a problem. You want a problem? Go grow up like I grew up, right? Like, this is not nearly what it was like in Mexico for me, growing up with nothing, having nothing, no shoes on my feet, right? This is, you know, this is like white people problems. You know what I mean? She was like, you don't need to worry about all this. Like, this is not define you. This is not who you're going to be when you get older. Like, it's just now and we're going to get through it. And it didn't mean it wasn't hard for her. It didn't mean that I didn't hear her and my father crying through their bedroom, you know, at night because of what I was going through and what, you know, they couldn't help. It didn't change the fact that I didn't want to wake up in the morning and go to school most days. But for whatever reason, I believed that if I just kept believing in myself, and I listened to my mother when she said, "Querer poder." And that became my mantra. It was the first line of my college essay. You know, it's on the wall here. I don't know if you got to see that on your drawer, but we really do embody that and believe that if you want it and if you're willing to work for it, you know, and you're going to you put it all aside and just go. And that is really what has kept me going in many, many ways. Now she's still, you know, she's still my mother. She's still, you know, my biggest critic. She's the, no, my mother is Latina. She's still set to be my mom. But she is amazing and really has inspired me in many ways to just keep going.
That's so amazing.
Question for you. Yeah. The people who bullied you, have you cross paths with them at some point? Do they follow you? Do they have a bracelet?
Should we send them a bracelet?
I've heard from them. Some of them, the guy, no. I mean, I believe at some point, maybe after he wrote me a letter of apology, I believe that he had gone through some like mental journey and wrote me a letter. I think it was a part of, honestly, I blacked so much of that period of my life out, right? I think it was a part of the reconciliation of, you know, what the school did to kind of help step in and support, which they did, which I appreciated. But over the years, I have reconciled with some of these girls, whether they be from high school or college. One of them actually is a teacher in the school that we went to.
Wow.
And she reached out about wanting to have bracelets for the students because it's getting, you know, they're going exactly. So, you know, and apologized. And I look, there's freedom and forgiveness are the same, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not, I don't want to be sitting here thinking about like thinking ill will towards people. That's just not how I am, you know? And so for me, it was easy to just forgive and move on. But it's what fueled me. And I believe that so long as, you know, no matter what you go through, so long as you put purpose behind it and you bring purpose to the forefront of what you went through, that it was worth it. Like turning your pain into your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's all about. And that's why this whole business exists. I didn't want to go through that for nothing.
Right.
I didn't want it to just be, oh, I was bullied and that's that. No, I was bullied. It's okay. I learned, I grew, I became who I am. I learned what I wouldn't do, how to treat others, you know? And hey, I'm sure I never was a bully, but I'm sure I hurt people's feelings. I know I've hurt people's feelings over my lifetime. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But at the very least, it's inspired this movement and it's brought so much kindness and most importantly, self-love to individuals that, you know, are now mothers who are going to inspire their kids to live with that credo. And so for that, I'm eternally grateful for my experience because it led to all of this. So
I love that. And do you remember the first word that you put on your first bracelet?
I do. My prototype bracelet, like the one I made to see how it would work and what it would look like when it was prettier, like not the version in college that was just like crappy crap from Michaels. But then as I started making the prettier versions, the first word I used was laugh. And I believe that's because you do have to laugh it all off, right? If you don't laugh, you'll just cry was something I used to say in college with one of my best friends. And it's, you got to laugh it off. You got to laugh. And also you're going to be the one laughing at the bank at the end of the day. So
Yes.
let them make fun of you now. I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank. And
Thank you for the trauma, laugh. And then the one that I put the number 1. So every single one of our bracelets has a code on it.
Yeah.
You know this, of course. But for your listeners that don't, the code is unique to that bracelet. So the idea is you put that code into our website, you connect it, you tell your story, why you chose it. And then when you one day pass it on to someone, you can actually track and see where the bracelet goes because they connect the code and so on and so forth. And that is what made me believe that this could be a real viable business when I had that idea. And so the first bracelet I ever made that had a code on it, like the number 1, literally the code was 1.
Wow.
Was give. And that was, I wore it. Actually, recently I won Entrepreneur of the Year for New Jersey, and I thank you. And I wore it to that ceremony, and then it broke when I came home. But I still have all the beads, and it's fine. That said, it was a 10-year-old bracelet at the time. And the word give was so important, not only because of the word that you're supposed to pass on, like give it and pass it on, but also giving and giving back is a huge component of our brand. We've, Lifetime to date donated over $1 million to various nonprofits, and it's been a pillar of what we do. And it really is, again, it's a difference maker, right? Like if you got to go through shit, as long as you make it make sense later and you do something with that. For me, it's building a brand, building a business, building a community, but also giving back in exchange for the blessings, that I've received. Thank you. Yeah, I love them. I'm really proud of. But yeah, laugh and give. I know it's like, and we barely sell those now. So it's not even a top word to this day. If you were to ask me the number 1 best-selling word, though, it is strength. And I think that shows that
Yes.
y'all are really using it to get through the difficulties of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I know, you walk into these rooms and you're pitching your brand. Was there ever a moment when someone underestimated? I'm sure that happens.
The moment on the airplane.
I know.
Yes.
Especially when you're pitching.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's happened. I've pitched less, honestly, as a result. And I won't even lie. Like the first time I pitched to a store, it was 2013. I had just started, and I went to one of the stores I grew up going to, and I was like, oh, they're definitely going to give me a chance. Cause like I buy from them. I spend money with you. Like you'll give me a chance. She was like, no, my customers, they're not going to wear this. My customers are not going to wear this. I was like, really? Like I have a big business of like, initially I had moms who wanted their kids' names. Like that was like how I was building my business. Cause I had one woman who believed in me, and she was like, you know what? My kids, my mom friends all want their babies' names on their bracelets. I was like, great. I was making that in bulk, right? The first 3 years I made every single bracelet that went out the door with my 2 hands, and me and my mother.
Wow. And your base.
And my dad was the shipping department in my basement, like full stop. Then I went into that store, and she was like, no, it's not going to happen. So for 2 years, I was like, I lost my guns to go into the store and to go into stores and pitch. And so it wasn't until I was like called by this woman who was a wholesale, broker, if you will, and a rep. And she was like, you have a good business here. Like, let me help you get into retailers, like little independent mom and pops. It's like, I don't know if they're going to go for it. This one store didn't, And so there have been times where I've been, the whole time I've been afraid, frankly, the whole time I've been afraid and worried that I wasn't going to like be able to do it, but yet I believed I could, but I was still scared. So I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Like you can believe in yourself wholeheartedly, but still be afraid of rejection and still go slow because you're afraid. It's kind of almost a good balance to have.
Yeah. And they always say, like, if you don't have fear in the dream, is it really a dream? It's almost like what kind of like drives you.
Yeah.
Like that fear.
Yeah. 100%. So I again, once I started getting back into it, in those early days, I was still getting a ton of no's. And to this day, we still get no's. We go to the trade shows and we have people who are like, oh, no, I mean, I see these everywhere now. So like, I don't, and it's a different, before it was like, people actually wear this. Someone actually said that to me in my face.
Oh my.
People wear this? Yes, people wear this. I'm here. I've been in business 6 years.
Yeah.
I wear this.
Not just one.
She was extremely rude.
Multiple.
But that woman came and found me at another show later in life and said, I think when I first met you, I underestimated you and I underestimated what this business would become. And I just want you to know you've done a great job.
That was powerful.
It was powerful. Yes, gotcha. I knew it. I knew you'd come back. But it was a tough journey. And to this day, now it's flipped, right? It used to be nobody does, who knows this. And now it's, nah, my kids make them now, or everybody wears them, or da-da. And I'm like, well, okay, you're missing the point. We were the reason, we're the reason that everybody wears them. Us and Taylor. But yeah, it's a constant journey of navigating the no. And it's been, I've been getting no's from big retailers now that I'm like, or no's from retailers that have carried us in the past. And, we're like, it's old news. No, you're wrong. It's never going away. These things have been standing the test of time since before I was making them a commodity. These bracelets, the words on our wrists, they're powerful. They're going to be powerful forever. And the people who get it. And the ones who don't, that's okay. Not everybody has to be a fan, and we find the good ones in between.
Without words. It's when you dig deeper to your story, there's more to unfold.
Yes.
But I love this that because we see who you are today, everything you build, your beautiful headquarters, your family, right? All your accomplishment, and ella lo tuvo fácil, right?
Yeah. Everybody loves
and
it.
they still think that, she can walk in any room and they're going to say yes, right? You can walk with confidence knowing that what you have is something that everybody needs and wants, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. There's going to be times no. And it's okay in today's world for us, we Latinas, to know that we're going to get no's. When we said the same thing and we thought, okay, well, maybe it's not for everyone, right? Yeah. You'd have to change that perspective.
I've gotten more no's than I've gotten yeses. I'll tell you that much, at least. Maybe not if you think about the actual customer that's buying it, right? Like the end consumer. But when it comes to retailers and trying to get into, because that's how you build your brand. When you're in a consumer packaged goods, you have to get your product to be sold by others. That's like the whole bit, right? And for the longest time, I was just direct to consumer, going direct through the website. Once I started in wholesale, that's when all the no's started. And it was just like, no. Because when you're selling online, if people find you and they convert, great. You don't really worry about the people who don't convert because you never have to, you're not telling them your life's work and they're not saying no to you right to your face. Right. It's the wholesale journey, the trade shows. Once you start putting yourself out there, you're pitching your heart out and it's a no after a no after a no after a no. And then you get one yes. And that yes opens up. We got Nordstrom and that was that was everything. 2018, 2017, 2018 was Nordstrom. And or was it 2019? Oh my gosh, it was November, late 2018. That's what it was, because then we had a good run with them and then COVID. But Nordstrom opened up Target. Once Target saw we were in Nordstrom, Target wanted it, right? And that's kind of how these opportunities arose for us, is that once you get one, the snowball kind of starts, but you have to recognize that there's going to be no's along the perimeters the entire time, the entire time. And getting confident. And I think maybe if I'm going to psychoanalyze myself, the reason I believe in myself so much and I keep going is because I'm so used to the negative. I grew up being fed negative about myself my whole life. I had to work the muscle of not caring. Yeah. And I'm still not that good at it. I still care a lot when people think of me, right? But it's the fact that I had so much experience navigating the negative, I think, is why we were able to push through the negatives, the no's, and keep going. I never stopped, even when I was talking to no one. I look back on some of my early Instagram posts. I'm like, who was I talking to? Nobody else here.
I think you posted old pictures.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes. It's oh my God. I think you put one on top of a flamingo.
The flamingo. My TikTok. You look at now, I would not. I posted crazy stuff back in the day. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this was good marketing. And that's hysterical. But I kept going. And you know what? Here we are today. So it's just that lesson that we all as people, as business owners, especially if you're entrepreneurs, especially young women entrepreneurs, especially Latina entrepreneurs, our percentage chance of success is so small. When you look at the statistics, it's so much smaller than the average. And, I think it's because, I don't know, we have to just believe in ourselves. And we need to see more people who did do it that look like us. And so honestly, I was so excited to hear from you both because I want my community, my extended community, to see that it's possible, you know, and that we just have to keep going.
Yeah. And many times I was going to mention you're in these rooms and it's male dominated. And then here you come, a Latina with so much fuego. So I'm sure that plays such a big part when you're walking into these rooms that are like male dominated. So to keep that motivation is just like, it's such an honor.
Yeah.
Like just to see you doing that.
Well, thank you. And I will say when it comes to the male component, you know, it's the same. I almost have more confidence around men than I do women. Yeah, it is because of the experience growing up. But when you find the good women, you've got the power to like when women find each other, they come together and they work together well. It's amazing what'll happen. Like when we talk about Disney and the relationships there, that was an organic reality that came from another woman, another young millennial woman who grew up over the last decade loving Little Birds Project. And she worked her way into a position of being a buyer at Disney parks. And she slid into my inbox, you guys. Like our contact form on our website is how we got Disney parks, which blows my mind to this day. But it's this woman who she loved the brand. And it dawned on me over the last, you know, if you stay at it long enough, your diehards, the people who love you, are going to find themselves in positions of power and being able to help you.
Yeah.
And if you stay authentic and honest to who you are, you will find yourself in these rooms with these women who understand the power of what happens when we come together. And then as it relates to the men, you know, just be you, be your sparkly self. And most men that I have encountered on this journey have been very kind. I mean, the men have never been my problem. Now, there are some who are like a little rubbed the wrong way by my energy. Like when I, you know, if I have, you know, maybe former male employees have struggled with me, or like people who don't know how to deal with the Latina fuego, if you will. And and also are like, you're my boss, but I'm a man. You know, it's a little hard. And I understand it. Unfortunately, because of our culture, right, in society. But for the most part, I've not had any struggle with the male counterparts. It's sometimes the other female business owners that don't have that kind of same belief that I do, that, you know, the rising tide raises all ships and we'd rather compete than collaborate. I just don't buy into that. And I don't put myself as out there in those circles as maybe I should. And maybe that's my bullying getting, you know, that's the PTSD sticking with me, that I'm like nervous about that more than anything else. But, you know, I try to just take every next right action that I can and focus on that. And by the way, at the same time, I'm a mother. So I don't really have time to worry about anyone else. I got to think about these two little boys, raising them the best I can, raising this business the best I can, and being the best wife, partner, and founder that I can be. And that's and mother, obviously, that, you know, that's my whole entire mission. And all the other stuff is just noise.
I love it. And if you can pick one little word to every Latina chasing her dreams right now, what would it be?
Querer poder. Querer poder. That's, I mean, it's my biggest connection to my Latina roots. It's my mother in my ear as I was leaving the house every morning. That plus she would say no sex, no drugs, no alcohol. Every single morning ahead of going to school. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I got you. And also, you know, and so that you could do either. But
I envision her to say,
and you're like, no sex, no drugs, no alcohol. Down the staircase, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, okay. But it's like those three little words that just, at the end of the day, it's everything. It's, if you want it, you can do it. And you really have to believe that. And of course, there are obstacles and there are things that some people face that others don't. And that's all valid. But where there's a will, there's a way. And you got to just kind of find yourself that way. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm selling plastic on a string, but we're selling millions. And that's because it is right?
Power
and the meaning and knowing that and selling it and marketing, and people get it and they embody it. And there's a reason that word of mouth is the #1 bestseller, right? Because people tell people about the things that they love. And that's how we know that it's working. So get it with it.
I love it.
I'm sorry, very long answers.
Amazing. This is what connects us, right? This is why we also put taboo talks, right? Out there, because it's so important for us to have these conversations that, again, we see what we see on social media, everything you've accomplished, but we don't know the story. Not all of us really dig deeper to that story.
Yeah.
And remind you to pat yourself in the back and continue to learn how to job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I know that recently you stepped down from
CEO. Yes, I handed that title right over to my husband.
What's that big for you? I know it was a transition.
It was. And I struggled with it at first because I didn't want to give it to a man. I'll start with that. I didn't want to give it to a white man. I love my husband, obviously. I had no problem with what he looks like, where he comes from, his history, his background, his culture, you know, he's an Irish, English, German, American man. And I love it, you know. But I struggled with like, okay, there's few female Latina CEOs in the world, right? So like, am I really going to give up that title?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I needed to do what was right for myself, my family, and my own, and this business. Frankly, there's parts of this business that it's too big for me now. And I'm confident saying that, not because I don't want to become the CEO that could manage this whole thing soup to nuts, right? Like as of right now, I don't manage the finances of the business. Like, that's a blessing, you guys. Not having that on. I lucked out in having, I always say I got my CEO on sale because he is my husband. I could never have afforded his level of caliber and knowledge. He came from private equity. He worked in finance. He's been he's been a version of my head of finance for the entirety of the journey. Like, I have old notebooks where I say, talk to Bill about the numbers. It's so cute to see in early days. So he's always been writing the story with me. He named it. He is not just your average male I hired off the street, you know, not that would be a bad thing, but you feel this level of guilt, especially being a representation of the Latina community. I don't want to just step aside, you know, and that said, I'm still the founder. I'm the CBO, which means Chief Brand Officer, and I am running the vision and mission of this business. I am the face. I'm going out there, and I'm also doing a lot of behind the scenes work. I mean, my car, Vanessa's unpacking my car of product I had at home that I was counting and helping the fulfillment center sort, because sometimes if I don't do it, it won't get done. And that's still on entrepreneurship. Like, nothing has changed there. But him being able to step in and take over, you know, investor relations, managing the finances, helping to approve on budgeting and the things that we're spending on, the stuff we're putting our energy and time into, has made all the difference for me, my happiness, and my longevity leading this brand, you know, at the front. And he's like kind of the leader from behind. Yeah, thank you.
And I feel like you guys were already playing those roles.
Exactly.
Forget about the title.
Yep. That's exactly right.
You both were playing
That's exactly
these roles from the very beginning.
Yeah. And even more so,
Just have the title.
and even more so when he joined in 2021 after we had our first baby. And it was post-COVID, and it was like, what are we going to do? You know, are you really going to go back to work in a city? That feels crazy. Like, we have this beautiful setup. Why not? This was the dream. This is what we were working towards. And so he decided to jump ship. And we, you know, sometimes we go back and forth, like, was that the right decision? Was it not? You know, he would be doing who knows what right now as far as success. But we are really proud of ourselves and how we are as a team. I think more than anything, he's an incredible partner. He's a wonderful man. He loves everything about my Latina fire. He is like, it's funny. It's like that. If you guys seen it on TikTok or Instagram where you scroll it, it's like, if you see my white man like getting yelled at by me or by he's exactly where he wants to be. And it's so accurate. It's like, he chose this, like, he knew what he was getting into, and he loves it. So it's cute, and it's who we are. And again, like, if it weren't for him, I don't think we would be where we are. He's the reason we're in retail. He's the one who wanted to go that direction, which he will, you know, joke about, was that a good decision? Was it not? We'll find out. But so far it's been great. And, you know, it's just learning. It's learning and growing. And I'm blessed to be able to do it with a partner who cares as deeply as I do.
That's important.
And you don't find that everywhere, you know? So,
especially when it's your vision, your mission, in a ways where you build now, being that maybe someone else is going to change it for us. You know, maybe they're not going to deliver the right message. And I want to say that to me, and I know it was for Cynthia too, it inspired us because it reminded us, you know, you probably start from a different perspective, but as women, that it's going to be okay to evolve. We're going to pivot, you know, and it doesn't mean that I get goosebumps, you know, that you are letting down your vision, your people, your mission, you know, now you're the front. Now
I get to actually be better.
Intentional to be better, but also not just for your business and your people, but for your family.
For my family.
For your house,
exactly. For my voice. That's exactly right. If it wasn't for that move, I wouldn't have been able to be home with my children like I was. I wouldn't be able to be, you know, going, like, breastfeeding as long as I did because of the journey gets so hard when you go back to work. I was able to work from home for so many months. Like I really was able to create the life I wanted to create. And I did it with my husband, and the two of us made that decision together. And we know confidently that no matter what we face, and it's been hard and we continue to face difficulty, but no matter what we face, we can get through it together. And as long as we have our health, our family, that's what matters.
That's awesome.
So that is first. Everything else that we've got here is almost as important. It's like 1A, you know?
Yeah.
But it balances. And when I have to go, like last night I was out up in Long Island, I had an event that I had to do at the store. Bill was the one home with the kids, you know, and we have that beautiful that plus our village, right? We've got my mom who comes in, and my mom cooks meals for me every day. Like she's like there at my house cooking. I see my mom in my stove, and I'm like, wow, what a blessing that is. And then I've got, you know, my nanny who started as my executive assistant, who after I went through the NICU experience with my second, she was like, I kind of want to stay with the kids. Like, is that okay? I'm like, absolutely, it's okay. Like, thank you for wanting that, you know? And so again, like if it weren't for this village, this team that I'm building, I wouldn't be able to do it. It all does come down to the people you're building around you too, you know? So nobody should feel like they have to do it alone. You know, the fire has to start from within you. It has to stay burning inside of you alone. You can't rely on someone else to burn it for you. So that's the alone part. But everything else, it's all buoying you as you go on your journeys. So beautiful. Moments are so sweet. Thank you. I love this interview.
Okay, now we're gonna get into some rapid fire questions. So you ready?
Okay.
All right. What was your first big girl purchase after you launched Little Words Project?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Wait, what was my first big girl purchase after I launched? It would have been 2013. Girl, I didn't make money for like 4 years. 2007. I got married, so I was putting my money into my wedding. So there's probably that. My wedding was probably my big girl purchase because I put money in. My parents helped, but then I put money in. So probably that though. Yeah,
I love it.
We you know, I wanted like a little bit extra. My parents were so generous and gave us a beautiful amount for our wedding. But then I was like, let me add maybe probably the florist. Was my big girl purchase. 2017 for my wedding. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Now, biggest chisme you heard about yourself in business that wasn't true or wasn't?
I mean, probably that there's a few. There's, you know, I've gotten, she must not be that nice. There's no way she's that nice, right? So I get a lot of people who are like, there's no way, that's got to be fake. There's no way. And I'm like, pero how would you know that I'm not that nice if you've never interacted with me? That's just people hating, you know? So I've gotten that. I've gotten like, again, like people wear this, you know, like it's the belittling of the white letters that people are like, oh, are you sure? Like people are going to like that, you know? So that's probably more the most like that I hear the most is that she must not be who she says she is because
of your energy from the minute you walk.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean this not because we're
like, how do other people act? That's my question because I just feel like
there's no other way.
I'm like, I think some people want to feel very like I don't want to put my business out there. Like we're here to start a business.
Yeah.
Let's keep it professional.
Yeah.
But it's also I feel we lose that connection of like if it's who you are, it's okay. We respect that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you are bubbly and happy and excited and positive, why not?
Why not be that?
Because it makes this conversation so much better too.
I completely agree.
So nervous.
Yeah, I guess that's the answer. Like I'm like, what? How else would someone be? And I guess that is. It's that I go there. Like I do go deep and I connect. I really love connection. That's a huge part of who we are is connecting with one another. And so I definitely, maybe to a fault, I'm an open book. And there are times where my husband has to be like, Adriana, you can't post that. I'm like, but it's what's happening. Like, I want to post it. Like, otherwise people won't know. And he's like, you can't post that. I'm like, really? Like, so I say a lot. So I do think maybe I need to shut up a little bit. But I love it for this. In these settings, always, I be saying too much to my customers sometimes. And I'm like, I got to chill because they don't know me and I don't know them. And, you know, I have a little bit too much faith in people considering everything I've been through. But I just, you know, what's the point? Yeah. I become jaded. Like, at some point, you know, and look, it's hard. Trust me, it's hard to keep that positive. I am not a rapid fire girl, as you can tell. I'm like, let's talk about that for sentence, every question.
I was just gonna say, I wanted to add, I know these are rapid fire, but here we are.
Yeah, we're being us.
What I love about you is that I DM'd you and you replied. And that not everybody does that, unfortunately.
I know.
And you are such a well-known brand and you are such a well-known person. So in my mind, I was like, there's no way she's gonna respond.
Yeah.
And you did. And we kept in contact for like a good 2 years.
Yeah.
I started my podcast and I was like, I want you to be in my pod. And we just kept on and on. And every time you would reply.
I know.
And that's just
kind of
cute.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I appreciate that you love that. And it's actually been a topic of discussion amongst my team because
Some stuff, I know.
but as you get bigger, it becomes like I need a full day to go over to my DMs sometimes. But I've been actually going through, and I'll flag you, but I've been going through and I've been flagging people that I've really had a relationship with for a few years.
Okay.
But I will likely have to stop answering everybody. And I don't know how I'm going to do it because I love it. I do enjoy, I love seeing people. I mean, hold up. This whole time, all I've wanted was to build community.
Yeah.
From when I was little to now, all I've wanted was people to love me and to have friends and to connect with them. And, you know, look, I can accept that people don't always, I'm not everyone's brand, right? But I do believe that I would struggle not answering people. I still do to this day. It might take a while if you're not already in my DM inbox, like in your inbox requests, it takes a longer time. But I do go through and I try to catch up, even if it's just like in one long car ride, I'll get through the answers, right? But I know it's been a topic. My team's like, you got to stop because the problem is that they get, you know, not everybody's like you. Not everybody's so gracious and patient and kind and loving and pouring into my cut. There's also people that are like, hey, my order got messed up. Can you please help? And I'm like, I would love to, but I have not funded an order in an amount. Can you email? They're not giving me the answers I want. Like, okay. And then my team's like, Adriana, if everyone's just going to come to you and get what they want, how do we hold them? I feel like that's so fair. So it's hard, you know, and then they're forming opinions of you. And so I've really struggled with the visible public figure thing. You know, I'm like, I really am just a girl. I say that all the time, but it's a unique experience now. Like people in town know me and we open the store in Short Hills and people are seeing me out and about and they're like, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, yes, I look crazy, but sure. Like, no, like, I love it. I got to start putting myself together. But it's unique. And I appreciate you saying that because it does make me feel good to know that it's appreciated. Yeah. But it is. I know I might need to strategize off camera, like how I transition out of answering absolutely everyone because it gets hard, you know. But anyway, okay. Next rapid fire question.
1 hour.
Whatever.
If you have to wear one bracelet for the rest of your life, which one would it be and what would it say?
Oh gosh, really hard to pick.
I know. I wear like 5 of them.
I know.
I know. I can never just choose like one and then just go about my day.
I know. And I'm
like, no, what about this one and that one?
I trade mine out according to the season that I'm in. Right now, I've got Proud of You, which was made by one of my designer, actually, who's been with me for 7 years, going on 7 years. And it's been a tough season. It's been a tough period of growth. And whenever you go through those growing pains, it's painful. Like truly, it's a reason why it's called growing pains because it's so hard. And so she gave me Proud of You. And I've been wearing that. It's really been kind of carrying me through this journey. And I have trust, unafraid, moon and back because I was going through bracelets last night and I found this one out. So I'm going to steal it. I'm wearing it now. It's mine. Still, you know, loose term. Joy, which was my father-in-law who passed this past July. This was something he said, make space for joy. Thank you. It was really tough. Again, the family stuff doesn't stop because of what you do, right? So that was hard. And then Falling Up, which someone on my team gave me recently, who is like, I always feel like I'm falling, but like lately I realized I'm falling up. And I'm like, ooh, that's me too.
That's all of that.
So none of these are the words I probably wear forever. Believe is the one I've always said I think is the crux of everything, is belief in yourself. So believe because you have to believe in yourself. Like that's always been my favorite. But if I had to be one thing and choose one word that was going to keep me going for the rest of my life, it probably would be something having to do with my being a mother. It might be mama and just that, whether it be reminding me of my own mama, you know, or being the mama to my babies and that being the reason that I exist, I think, you know, above all else, is I feel like I'm a mother to all my my team. I feel like I'm a mother-going customer because I feel like I'm that motherhood, motherness. I struggled to conceive my children. I went through IVF. Like there was a point in time I didn't think I would be one. So it is my proudest thing. And I definitely think it would have to be Ma.
I love that.
Or something that relates to the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine would be trust. Trusting the process.
Yes.
The way. Because sometimes we're like, oh, why did that happen? Or why did we get a no? And it's just reminding myself, just trust the process. Everything's going to be okay. I'm a perfectionist. So when I get those no's or things don't go my way, I'm like, oh, why?
Yeah. But it's having the patience to know that at some point you will discover why.
Yeah.
You will learn why at some future point. Like I know why I went through what I went through. You know, I know why the whole way through because I needed to get to this point in life, which wouldn't have happened otherwise, you know? So the why comes later and you have to be confident and patient for that. Well, and trust. I love trust.
To me, it's seasons. Ooh, that's because I feel that we're constantly going through seasons and we don't take the moment to realize and stop, whether it's for good or bad, that is shaping us.
Yes.
You know, and I've always said this, and Cynthia, you're tired of me hearing me say this, like life is not happening to you, life is happening for you. And I feel like the seasons is part of us, of our becoming, of who we're becoming in that process, whether it's pain or it's joy. So I love how it's all aligned with every word we share.
I know. I love that.
We're all on the same page.
Okay, now to my favorite part, which is not my favorite part because it's towards our ending of our episode, but it's the Tia Chismosa segment. Okay. Oh, you mentioned earlier that will probably be your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom or your Tia Chismosa. And of course, she's the person you've become today from everything you've been through. What would she say?
I mean, she would say, wow, I can't believe all of that came to life with just this little bracelet, you know, like still somehow an underhanded and backhanded comment. But no, my mom every day is so proud of me. And I think, sees, and I felt a lot of weight of her journey on my shoulders, right? Like I've always believed that if my mom could go from what she came from in Mexico, which was absolutely nothing. Growing up, she had nothing. And, make a better life for herself out of being the only one of her 7 brothers and sisters to move to the United States and to have the desire to live here and the will to come and make a life for herself, then I can go from the position she gave me, which was an upper middle class lifestyle and family. I mean, we had vacations yearly. I was not, I wanted for nothing growing up. And I can confidently say that I do recognize the privilege in that, right? And so if she can go there, and I can go from here.
You can climb the rest.
Exactly. And I do it for her in many ways and for the experience she gave me. And, she's still mi mamá chismosa, like she's still giving me all the shit. She still makes me feel like I'm not there enough for my kids, like there's plenty of things that she still gets at me for, but that's our Latina mothers for us, right? Like you just kind of have to accept that they're always trying to make us better. They always want us to be the best version of ourselves. And they know how much extra work we have to do to achieve in life. And they want us to do that. So I appreciate it. I love it. And, I haven't had the privilege of growing up around mis tias and tios because they're all in Mexico. Like I did, my family here was American Italian. It's a very different version, but yet I always identified as a Latina first. And I think it's because of the lifestyle she gave us growing up in our home, how she taught me, how she raised me, how she infused Spanish into my life. And it's driven a lot of my own choices as a mother. I'd speak Spanish to my kids. My husband's trying to learn, and that culture is so important to me, and I'm so honored and grateful and lucky that we have that, and then I can give that to my kids. And it all comes from her. So she's my again, mi mamá chismosa. She would say, "Mosa, you did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you. You keep doing it, but spend more time with your kids. But come over. Don't forget. Yes, yeah. But I gotta go, so you gotta be here on time." She still runs my life. I'm like, how did this happen? But I love it.
Throw those little comments.
Always. There's always something.
It's like a compliment, and then
she's like, "Are you gonna wear that?" I'm like, "Yes, Mom." She's like, "Oh, it looks a little tight." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Are you gonna brush your hair?" I'm like, "Yes, Mom." It's not. It's like, "What do you mean? It's already done." She's like, I'm like, "Okay." I have a little boo-boo on my bag. She's like, "Get that Diablo out your bag."
Oh my God.
I'm like, "Oh my
Yes.
God." I'm like, "It's just the stuff that look at all the negative stuff. Yeah. Just enjoy." She's like, "Everything bad that happens to you is because of that stupid thing in the bag." I'm like, "Okay, Mom." It's just, but again, she drives me. She drives me. Yeah. Crazy. She drives. So it is. Right?
I love that. And what is next for you? What is next for Adriana? Any projects that you are allowed to share with us?
Oh my gosh. No, none that I'm like, I don't want to ruin anything for you.
Yes.
There's a lot of good stuff always coming. We're always reinventing the wheel in a sense and have a lot of good things coming. But this next year is really one for true stabilization of the brand, getting to the point of where we are to where we're going and like achieving that next level up, right? I think to do that, there's a lot of behind the scenes, under the water grunt work that you got to do. That isn't that sexy, but that is important and necessary for the growth of the brand. So we have no new stores coming in. We have no crazy,
Nothing in Connecticut.
nothing in Connecticut. Oh, no time soon. No Miami.
Because there is in Miami.
Yeah, well, there was. We closed our Miami. Yes, they did actually. Yeah, I was in Wynwood. Wasn't a good location for us. Wynwood was tough. So we got to go back to Miami. That is a goal. But we got to have me in Miami. I know. We got to get back. I want to get to Coconut Grove. That's like my dream. But we got to stable the ship. We got to, like, the boat's rocking a little bit. So we got to just kind of steady it. And by the time we do that, hopefully, to be honest, I want to keep growing my family. If there's a world, I'd want to go and get my little girl, which I can do because of IVF. Yeah, I have my embryo is waiting for me. So I can do that. But I won't do it until I feel season. So this is the season for settling and preparing for liftoff, in many ways.
A foundation.
Preparing the foundation, this new foundation. I don't want to say this, but thank you for being here because I don't want to say the thank you part forever.
We'll just work here.
Yeah, it's cute space. Plenty of space on Friday. No one comes in.
Thank you for your yes, because it means so much to us, and I know it means a lot to her.
It's such a light in my DMs for years, and it means a lot to me because it does. Those DMs can be a scary place if they're not filled with kindness and love, and that is what mine are, and that's why I answer people. It's always a story of kindness that I am answering to begin with.
It inspires what you just shared earlier on about collaboration, because we are starting, and the fact that you gave us the opportunity. Without saying, how many views do you get? How many followers?
Yeah, you didn't wait.
Question.
No, thank you.
That wasn't fine because I get it. You have a brand and I get it. You can't be in all places at the same time. I totally respect that. But the fact that you're doing this with us, I have no idea how much drive and more fire you ignite.
And you should know, like, I do ask those questions sometimes, but you guys fit a special niche. And it is one, a customer who has been nothing but kind to me over the years and deserves that. But two, you are Latina women, and I really want to make it clear to my Latina community that, like, if you want it, you can do it, right? And I am a representation of that. And I might have come from a certain spot, but my mother came from nothing and she got me here. So this is as much her story as it is mine. And so it's important that I'm in those sections and those spaces and places. And so this is no skin off my back to be able to do this. You all came here, you made this beautiful setup. All I got to do is show up and drink my water, answer the questions. It was a beautiful time, and I'm happy to do it. And I wish you all the luck in the world. I'm excited to listen and see you grow and take off to the moon, and more to come, I'm sure.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to our taboo breakers and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember today to sprinkle a little bit of kindness.
You know that. Oh, I don't know.